Kellon, and for my project for Imagine, I did the Statue of Liberty in Blender. Uh, the original objective that I thought of was to sculpt an object in Blender. After a week of thinking, I chose the Statue of Liberty. Week one, I brushed up on Blender, used a few YouTube videos, relearned texture painting, all of that fun stuff. And then at the end of the week, I decided to do Statue of Liberty. Week two, I started sculpting the statue. I made it out of like very large rectangle-ish structure I made. Started from the bottom, worked my way up, as it says. Um, week two and week three were basically the same thing. But week three was more refined details, like the head arms, more detail to the clubs. The hardest thing about this project was probably the arm and the head. If you've ever worked with drawing or making a human, they are hard to make look good, else they look like a children's drawing or toy. It's very hard. I had to do a lot of tweaking. This took me many hours. Week four, I improved the head and arms even more. I had to make the arm bigger because I was using another 3D object of the Statue of Liberty as a model. It's like a 1-to-1 scale, and I wasn't getting the perspectives right. And then I added the text to the tablet that she holds, the July 4th, 1776. And then I made the texture of the statue using the in stuff in Blender. It's like a copper. I don't know why I said bronze. This should be copper, with slight discoloration all around and a little bit of oiliness, a little shiny. And then I rendered it out as a 360-degree video. And here is the final product. I think it looks pretty good. The one thing I would probably change is I would bulge this in a little bit. It looks a little chunky. Yeah. I think it looks pretty good for 4 weeks of doing this. Okay. Takeaway. Actually, let's go to the. Here it is. In Blender. Here's a slightly older version. It's on my flash drive, but this is basically what I did for 2.5 weeks. I painstakingly sculpted a person or a statue out of a giant box. Very fun. I used these tools. I liked the clay tool. Very nice. Draw Sharp was very useful in drawing these lines. And then Dyn Topo adds polygons as you're going, but you have to have a pretty strong computer to make it go. So I used other computers other than this one. Alright, takeaway. People are very hard to make good in sculpting, as I said. It was a lot more time consuming than I expected. When I originally was thinking of things to do, I was thinking, what could I do that I wouldn't do in a week? So I thought of the Statue of Liberty. But it took me 4 weeks, but it took a long time to make this look good. And then I learned a little bit about Blender and how the workflow goes. When sculpting, you kind of get used to it. You know all the tools do and know exactly what it'll do. So you kind of use that to your advantage. And that is my Statue of Liberty project for Imagine.